What's up, cool people? How's everybody doing? Welcome to another sort of like recording session combo live stream thingamajig, whatever you want to call it. Um, so we'll be starting off with some Bible study as usual, looking at Judges 11 and 12. Then we're back to Assassin's Creed with the third time in Acre. And depending on how things go timing wise, I might try and slip in a third Bible study chapter after all that. Um, I I realize, eventually I'm gonna need to get a little further ahead on some of these things over the course of however long. I mean, I already am a bit ahead with my, regular video uploads and having those scheduled out, other than like the shorts and the not so scheduled stuff. But the scheduled stuff is already honestly a couple of weeks out. But eventually I'm gonna want a little bit more just to cover for like when I'm away visiting family. I definitely have plans to do that kind of late May into early June. But yeah. So in order to not, keep falling behind when things like that happen, I'm going to try and, just work on getting a little bit more in here and there with the recordings so then I can, you know, edit them, get them up a little bit earlier, and have them scheduled decently well in advance. But the reason I would slip in another Bible study chapter video thing is because I already am slightly ahead of the schedule on gaming stuff. Because whenever I finished up EDF Insect Armageddon, I got 3 of those videos in 1 week, as opposed to the normal 2. So, yeah. Anyway, all that to say, might slip in a little extra Bible study at the end, depending on how things go. And I'm just realizing I totally should have been checking my sound output all along. It seems like it's fine. Um, Also, I've noticed, or at least it seems like sometimes when I've just even bumped the microphone a little bit, I guess like the cord that plugs in down here at the bottom of it kind of like is a little loose. So if it gets jostled, it can actually like kind of disconnect and then reconnect it. And often when that happens, it'll like lower my microphone volume. So, yeah, gotta keep checking on that kind of stuff just to make sure that it's not, making me quieter than I want to be. Anywho, okay. With all that stuff out of the way, suppose we can hop into it here after I go ahead and pop out some stuff from Twitch, just to try not to miss any chat stuff or any activity from there while I'm doing the Bible study. May take me a little bit to notice it as I'm, reading stuff. But I at least have the chance of seeing it now without having to hop back and forth between scenes in my stream and windows in my browser and all that kind of stuff. Anyway. Okay. Time to move on over here to the Bible study. And, yeah. I suppose I will just get right into it, because there's not too much else that I really have to say leading into it. Okay, I will also confess real quick, just kind of sort of in the background. I'm running an idle game on my Xbox. You know, one of those games that you don't even really have to play for it to progress and earn resources and that kind of stuff. So if I look way over there before I actually get to, the gaming portion of the stream, that's probably what I'm looking at. But, anywho. Okay. So, um, broader preface about Judges if you've missed things up to this point. I mean, with the book of Judges, the events happening between chapters and people, like, a lot of it is more so, like, episodic, you might say. So, you don't necessarily need to have read all of what happened in previous chapters of Judges to get a sense of what's going on in the current chapter story thing. And we've read through a handful of let me rephrase that. We've read about a handful of the Judges already. Actually, I'm thinking somewhere around, I don't know, 7 or 8 in total. Could be even a little bit more than that. I don't know. There's a bunch that get very just quickly summarized, and then it moves on to the next one. But anyway, there is a little bit of context that would be helpful to know for this chapter, but I'll get into that once I start recording. Speaking of which, suppose it's about time I do that. So here we go. Okay. So we're looking at Judges chapter 11, and in the previous chapter, the bulk of it was just kind of setting the scene for this, I guess. It mentioned how the Philistines and the Ammonites basically, took control of Israel, or at least portions of it, because, Israelites had started worshiping other gods again, and it was seemingly a multitude of other gods in this particular situation. So at first, when they asked for help from the Lord, he says, why don't you get one of your other gods to help you? There's so many of them. Surely one of them can help you. It wasn't worded exactly like that, but that was the general gist. But they get rid of all the other idols from the other gods and, turn back to the Lord, and then he starts having sympathy on them again. So, that's the scene for what we get into here. So, here we go. Judges chapter 11. Now Jephthah of Gilead was a great warrior. He was the son of Gilead, but his mother was a prostitute. Gilead's wife also had several sons, and when these half-brothers grew up, they chased Jephthah off the land. You will not get any of our father's inheritance, they said, for you are the son of a prostitute. So Jephthah fled from his brothers and lived in the town of Tob. Soon he had a band of worthless rebels following him. So when it says worthless rebels there, I get the sense more so that it was just like they were troublemakers, rabble-rousers, some term more like that. Kind of societal outcasts. And definitely the kind of people who I think would have been inclined to, break the rules a bit and not always really do what was right. But that's a bit of an assumption on my part about the character of these people. I I would definitely think it's safe to assume, at least, that they were outcasts of a sort. Because, I mean, Jephthah himself is basically an outcast in this situation because his brothers don't really accept him, or half brothers more like. Because they were all sons of Gilead's actual wife, whereas Jephthah was. Back in those days, I don't know if they would have so much called it an affair, but basically, Jephthah was born of a different woman who was not Gilead's wife. Anyway, verse 4. At about this time, the Ammonites began their war against Israel. When the Ammonites attacked, the elders of Gilead sent for Jephthah in the land of Tob. The elders said, "Come and be our commander. Help us fight the Ammonites." But Jephthah said to them, "Aren't you the ones who hated me and drove me from my father's house? Why do you come to me now when you're in trouble?" "Because we need you," the elders replied. "If you lead us in battle against the Ammonites, we will make you ruler over all the people of Gilead." Okay. Not really surprising given what had happened in previous things. I'm also noticing, I don't know if this is going to be a trend continuing throughout the rest of Judges, or at least further on into it, but Abimelech was pretty much chosen by the people as judge. And now we've got these people choosing Jephthah as judge slash, ruler. Whereas, the first few judges, it was at least worded more so in a way that it was like, okay, well, this was God, choosing such and such person. And the people just kind of, accepted or, realized the abilities, the leadership abilities or the combat skills or whatever of the judge that God had chosen. Now, of course, Jephthah's fighting abilities here might have been part of the way that God chose him. So I'm not outright saying it's a totally different situation, but the way it's worded makes it seem like the people are relying less on God and, his timing and who he brings up, and more so just like choosing for themselves, or maybe even kind of discerning, to put a slightly more positive possible spin on it. Maybe they're, discerning who God is choosing more so than just relying on it, somewhat just coming to them by God's choosing. I don't know. Feel free to let me know if that wasn't exactly worded the best, but anywho, I'm noticing a difference in the wording here versus earlier in Judges. But anyway, so I think I lifted off at verse 9. Jephthah said to the elders, "Let me get this straight. If I come with you, and if the Lord gives me victory over the Ammonites, will you really make me ruler over all the people?" "The Lord is our witness," the elders replied. "We promise to do whatever you say." So Jephthah went with the elders of Gilead, and the people made him their ruler and commander of the army. At Mizpah, in the presence of the Lord, Jephthah repeated what he had said to the elders. Then Jephthah sent messengers to the king of Ammon, asking, Why have you come out to fight against my land? The king of Ammon answered Jephthah's messengers, When the Israelites came out of Egypt, they stole my land from the Arnon River to the Jabbok River and all the way to the Jordan. Now then, give back the land peaceably. Okay. See, that's actually a somewhat legitimate land dispute kind of thing. But at the same time, like, the Israelites probably wouldn't be inclined to just give back the land because it was land that was promised to them by God. And honestly, that goes way, way back to Abraham, essentially. Probably well before a lot of these other kingdoms were any sort of decently established. But anyway, so with Jephthah as leader, they kind of get the ball rolling on responding to the Ammonite threat. So they've exchanged a little bit, a couple of messages here and there. King of Ammon wants the land back from, back when Moses led the people out of Egypt. And then we get to verse 14. Jephthah sent this message back to the Ammonite king. This is what Jephthah says. Israel did not steal any land from Moab or Ammon. When the people of Israel arrived at Kadesh on their journey from Egypt after crossing the Red Sea, they sent messengers to the king of Edom asking for permission to pass through his land, but their request was denied. Then they asked the king of Moab for similar permission, but he wouldn't let them pass through either. So the people of Israel stayed in Kadesh. Finally, they went around Edom and Moab through the wilderness. They traveled along Moab's eastern border and camped on the other side of the Arnon River, but they never once crossed the Arnon River into Moab, for the Arnon was the border of Moab. Then Israel sent messengers to King Sihon of the Amorites, who ruled from Heshbon, asking for permission to cross through his land to get to their destination. But King Sihon didn't trust Israel to pass through his land. Instead, he mobilized his army at Jahaz and attacked them. But the Lord, the God of Israel, gave his people victory over King Sihon. So Israel took control of all the land of the Amorites, who lived in that region, from the Arnon River to the Jabbok River, and from the eastern wilderness to the Jordan. So you see, it was the Lord, the God of Israel, who took away the land from the Amorites and gave it to Israel. Why then should we give it back to you? You keep whatever your god Chemosh gives you, and we will keep whatever the Lord our God gives us. Are you any better than Balak, son of Zippor, king of Moab? Did he try to make a case against Israel for disputed land? Did he go to war against them? Israel has been living here for 300 years, inhabiting Heshbon and its surrounding settlements, all the way to Aroer and its settlements, and in all the towns along the Arnon River. Why have you made no effort to recover it before now? Therefore, I have not sinned against you. Rather, you have wronged me by attacking me. Let the Lord, who is judge, decide today which of us is right, Israel or Ammon. But the king of Ammon paid no attention to Jephthah's message. Okay, I thought I would read all that as one, long passage, just because, it's pretty much a recap of things that happened previously, going back to Exodus, essentially. Like I was talking about before, where Moses led the Israelites out of Egypt and toward Canaan, a.k.a. the Promised Land, a.k.a. roughly modern-day Israel. And then, they, as it describes here, they asked for passage through these different kingdoms, but 3 consecutive kings didn't allow them to pass through. The third of which decided to attack the Israelites. But God gave them victory, and that's how they basically came into possession of this land that this Ammonite king is saying was stolen. So it mostly gets back to what I said before this section of the chapter, that like this was part of the land that was promised by God. Like he gave it to them because of the prior promise all the way back to Abraham. So of course they're not going to want to just give it up. And really, especially if you think about that covenant all the way back to Abraham, that might even give Israel a more rightful claim to this land that they possess. Now, as far as kind of the last section here, first off, 300 years that they've been living in this area. So I guess that means as of this chapter, it's been roughly 300 years since they settled the Promised Land. So, like, basically, from the end of Exodus up to this point, it's been about 300 years. And Israelites have been living there all this time. There hasn't been a previous claim to this effect made. There was no prior conflict of people or of kingdoms trying to reclaim this land. So, especially, assuming there were other kings over the same group of people, the same kingdom, essentially, over all this 300 years, like, if they had any kind of notable fighting force, you would think they would have tried this earlier. But they hadn't up until this point. So I guess the only assumption in here that is a bit of an assumption is that, they would have had the ability to, make such a claim and try and take this land back previously within this 300-year time span. But, like, kingdoms don't get to this level of power overnight. So, there is a bit of legitimacy to that argument as well. That's not necessarily saying the same logic should apply to certain modern day situations. Because, like, there are times when people when there's just a massive imbalance of power between one country and another, or different things like that. So it makes it harder to, legitimize this kind of reasoning as to, well, why haven't you tried to, claim this land for yourselves before? I'm not going to make any direct associations, but I think if you're smart enough, you could probably, pick up on at least a certain modern day equivalence to what I'm saying. Anywho, okay, I think that's about enough on that section. Except there's a footnote. It just says the Sea of Reeds in Hebrew at the Red Sea. That was pretty much just the way that they referred to it more so in Hebrew, especially at that time. But current day, it's known as the Red Sea. So for the sake of the reader's understanding, they'll just call it the Red Sea in this translation. Anyway, give me a second to grab some water here. Okay. All right, so then we get to verse 29. At that time, the Spirit of the Lord came upon Jephthah, and he went throughout the land of Gilead and Manasseh, including Mizpah in Gilead. And from there he led an army against the Ammonites. And Jephthah made a vow to the Lord. He said, "If you give me victory over the Ammonites, I will give to the Lord whatever comes out of my house to meet me when I return in triumph. I will sacrifice it as a burnt offering." So Jephthah led his army against the Ammonites, and the Lord gave him victory. He crushed the Ammonites, devastating about 20 towns from Aroer to an area near Minnith and as far away as Abel Keramim. In this way, Israel defeated the Ammonites. All right, pausing there real quick. So now notice it says the Spirit of the Lord came upon Jephthah. People who think there aren't signs of the Trinity in the Old Testament. Actually, some think the Trinity is just not even proper biblical thinking to begin with. But Spirit of the Lord. And it capitalizes Spirit here. Whether or not it would have done the equivalent in the original Hebrew, I'm not 100% sure. But it's definitely a possible allusion to that. Never mind the outright claim of Jesus, at the end of Matthew where he says to baptize people in the name of the Father, Son, and Spirit. But anyway, slight tangent, just came to my mind because of that. Anyway, so he gathers up an army against the Ammonites. He makes a vow to the Lord to give, quote, whatever comes out of my house to meet me whenever he gets back, if the Lord gives him victory. That's a pretty bold claim. Because you would think the most likely thing to come out of the house to meet him would be a family member, right? I mean, hardcore dedication there, I guess, but very bold thing that I'm pretty sure the vast majority of people would say, is that really such a good idea? Especially because God generally isn't in favor of putting people up as offerings. But I digress. So then, massive victory against the Ammonites. They're all but wiped out. 20 towns are conquered / reclaimed. Because the Ammonites had come and taken control of parts of Israel at this point. That's why I used the word reclaimed in there, maybe. So anyway, all that happens. And then after the sweeping victory, we get to verse 34. When Jephthah returned home to Mizpah, his daughter came out to meet him, playing on a tambourine and dancing for joy. She was his one and only child. He had no other sons or daughters. When he saw her, he tore his clothes in anguish. "Oh, my daughter," he cried out, "you have completely destroyed me. You've brought disaster on me, for I have made a vow to the Lord, and I cannot take it back." And she said, Father, if you have made a vow to the Lord, you must do to me what you have vowed, for the Lord has given you a great victory over your enemies, the Ammonites. But first, let me do this one thing. Let me go up and roam in the hills and weep with my friends for 2 months, because I will die a virgin." "You may go," Jephthah said. And he sent her away for 2 months. She and her friends went into the hills and wept because she would never have children. When she returned home, her father kept the vow he had made, and she died a virgin. So it became a custom in Israel for young Israelite women to go away for 4 days each year to lament the fate of Jephthah's daughter. Okay. I told you that was a risky proposition. And a bold vow to make. But I mean, okay, so there weren't. I mean, I suppose it could potentially have been, a servant or somebody like that who would have come out first, potentially. But otherwise, you would have to assume it's a family member. Anywho, so this mostly, well, I mean, assuming this is historically accurate, then it's just kind of going along with, things that happened and explaining all that in detail. Because, he made the vow and it would make sense to explain how that was kept. But also, I guess, gives to the original reader of this way, way, way back why this would have been somewhat common, or at least a known practice for these Israelite women to go away and, lament the fate of Jephthah's daughter, as it's worded here. Now, that's only for 4 days. She, Jephthah's daughter, was gone for 2 months. But, generally when you're remembering something that happened over a certain length of time, you don't necessarily engage in your remembrance for as long. Really, the main thing that comes to my mind as far as people trying to, mimic the time frame of something in their remembering of that something, some people will, intentionally fast between Good Friday and Easter Sunday because, it's meant to resemble or remember or recognize or whatever the time period during which Jesus was mortally dead in the tomb. But anyway, so now that I'm done with yet another slight tangent, I don't really have any other particular thoughts. So Jephthah gives Israel a major victory over the Ammonites. Now, it hasn't mentioned the Philistines, but the Ammonites apparently were the bigger threat. So, I don't know. We may or may not read more on Jephthah. But anywho, that's all that I've got for chapter 11. Okay. And then we move on to chapter 12. That actually didn't take anywhere near as long as I thought it would, but it's probably in large part because, I took major portions of that and read it all at once and just kind of summarized. But especially the part that was kind of, going back into the history books a little bit, you might say, regarding what had happened with the land and why there would have been a dispute over it, why Israel would have had a rightful claim to it. I figured we didn't need to spend too long diving into the details on that. Okay, real quick, I'm going to be just ever so slightly distracted for a bit, doing something in the one mostly idle game that I've had going on in the background. So anyway, in the meantime, hello again. If you've joined in partway through the stream, thanks for stopping by. Hope you're enjoying the Bible study. Even though I am recording this, feel free to, leave comments in the chat or whatever if you have any thoughts or questions or anything else you'd like to discuss. I will say if it's not so directly related, I might take a little longer to get to it, but especially stuff that is related, I may very well then include that in eventual, edited down YouTube videos. Because, getting in other thoughts that are still relevant is also a good thing. Because if you're thinking it, odds are somebody else would think that or have a question related to what you're saying. And being able to include more of that in the eventual edited video, I would hesitate to ever say that that's a bad thing. Anywho, okay. So, let me get another quick sip of water here. Oh yeah, I also got a text message. Let me double check what that is, because that might be an important kind of thing. Okay, just discussing lunch plans for the day. It's not going to be quite my normal plan. Similar kind of thing, just meeting up with a different person, basically. Anywho, okay. And without further ado, let's continue on with chapter 12. All right, so looking at Judges chapter 12, for the sake of context, in the previous chapter, especially because it mentions Jephthah here, Jephthah was essentially the hero of Israel in the previous chapter. They were being attacked by Ammonites, and Jephthah essentially became their commander and led them to victory over the Ammonites. And he also agreed to, he vowed a certain thing to God that he would offer, what wound up being his daughter to God. But the main thing was the victory over the Ammonites with Jephthah as commander and the other people of Israel, or at least Gilead, agreeing that if he led them to victory, then he could be their ruler. So, anyway, there's your context. Let's hop on into Judges chapter 12. Then the people of Ephraim mobilized an army and crossed over the Jordan River to Zaphon, I don't know. They sent this message to Jephthah. Why didn't you call for us to help you fight against the Ammonites? We are going to burn down your house with you in it. Jephthah replied, I summoned you at the beginning of the dispute, but you refused to come. You failed to help us in our struggle against Ammon. So when I realized you weren't coming, I risked my life and went to battle without you, and the Lord gave me victory over the Ammonites. So why have you now come to fight me? Yeah, I was reading what they said up here, and I was like, wait, didn't he ask them for help? In fact, let's real quick go back to chapter 11. Jephthah went with the elders of Gilead. People made him commander. Spirit of the Lord came upon Jephthah. He went through the land of Gilead and Manasseh. Okay, so it doesn't specifically mention Ephraim there, but still, he claims here that, he did ask them for help, just they didn't go along with it, which is why they might not have been mentioned in the previous chapter. Anyway, so verse 4, the people of Ephraim responded, You men of Gilead are nothing more than fugitives from Ephraim and Manasseh. So Jephthah gathered all the men of Gilead and attacked the men of Ephraim and defeated them. Jephthah captured the shallow crossings of the Jordan River, and whenever a fugitive from Ephraim tried to go back across, the men of Gilead would challenge him. Are you a member of the tribe of Ephraim? They would ask. If the man said, No, I'm not, they would tell him to say Shibboleth. If he was from Ephraim, he would say Shibboleth, because people from Ephraim cannot pronounce the word correctly. Then they would take him and kill him at the shallow crossings of the Jordan. In all, 42,000 Ephraimites were killed at that time. Jephthah judged Israel for 6 years. When he died, he was buried in one of the towns of Gilead. Okay, so that wraps up what happened with Jephthah, but okay. So there was this dispute. Ephraim and Gilead are nothing more than fugitives. But meaning, okay, I think this kind of goes back to, again, I'm going to switch back to chapter 11 here, but in verse 3 of the previous chapter, when it mentions, he fled from his brothers and lived in Tob, and, quote, soon he had a band of worthless rebels following him. That gives off a similar vibe to what's being said here about them just being fugitives, as in like they're outcasts, they're rejects, they're people that weren't really welcome in the first place. So they kind of sort of see him as an outsider. And they wouldn't generally be okay with an outsider ruling over them. Although whether or not he was really ruling over them, I don't know. He definitely ruled over Gilead after defeating the Ammonites. But still, really, the people of Ephraim, or anywhere in Israel for that matter, those people would not have wanted an outsider ruling over any portion of it if it was really under their control. So while he wasn't totally like an outsider as far as birthright is concerned, to them he was an outsider. And then you get into this thing where like his I don't even want to say army, his crew whatever you want to call them, did all this stuff with, questioning people at this certain spots, asking if they're from Ephraim, and testing them to see whether or not they were. And then if they were from Ephraim, basically killing them on the spot. So yeah, not exactly the most upstanding rule for any of the judges. The trends throughout judges thus far seem to generally be on the downward slope as far as keeping in line with being righteous and following God's commands, just all that kind of stuff. So anyway, Jephthah dies, and then we continue on with verse 8. After Jephthah died, Ibzan from Bethlehem judged Israel. He had 30 sons and 30 daughters. He sent his daughters to marry men outside his clan, and he brought in 30 young women from outside his clan to marry his sons. Ibzan judged Israel for 7 years. When he died, he was buried at Bethlehem. They were not supposed to... Well, outside the clan, I guess it might have been okay, but if it was from just outside people groups altogether, that was definitely discouraged. But also, for the most part, the, marriages would have been kept within the clan back in those times. So, still not exactly the most upright person. I don't know. It's a lot harder to, make those kind of judgment calls from this far out in history. Anyway, still managed to rule for one more year than Jephthah, though. All right. And then we get to verse 11. I'll probably just read through the end of the chapter because this part's so short. Anyway. After Ibzan died, Elon from the tribe of Zebulun judged Israel for 10 years. When he died, he was buried at Aijalon in Zebulun. After Elon died, Abdon, son of Hillel, from Pirathon, judged Israel. He had 40 sons and 30 grandsons who rode on 70 donkeys. He judged Israel for 8 years. When he died, he was buried at Pirathon in Ephraim, in the hill country of the Amalekites. And, yeah. There are a surprising number of these judges that just get kind of, I don't know if glossed over is quite the right way to put it, but the Bible doesn't go into much depth of what happened during their time as judge, or why they were appointed as judge, or any of that kind of stuff. But anyway, so after Ibzan was Elon, it literally gets into no other details other than who he was, where he was from, how long he ruled, and where he was buried. Abdon, it mentions his 40 sons and 30 grandsons who rode on 70 donkeys, but otherwise, nothing really gets added there. And that definitely puts our overall judge count over 10, I'm pretty sure. But, yeah. Otherwise, there's not too much to say, because there's not a whole lot that's said in these verses here. So, I suppose that will do it for chapter 12. Not really a whole lot going on there. I do feel like double checking myself to see if that was, in fact, how many judges. I'm pretty sure it doesn't actually get to any of them until chapter 3, but okay, we've got Abdon, Elon, Ibzan, Jephthah. Doggone it. And then before Jephthah, there was... Okay, wait, I was at 4, right? Yeah. Before Jephthah was Jair. Before him was Tola. And then I guess there was Abimelech. And then there was Gideon. So we're at 8. Before Gideon, there was... Okay, before Gideon, there was Deborah. Actually, might have been one other... Nope, okay. And then before Deborah, there was Shamgar. So that's 10. Ehud makes 11. Othniel is 12. So, funny story, we're at 12 judges by the end of chapter 12. Even though it doesn't even get into the first judge until partway through chapter 3 with Othniel here. Anywho, okay. Just felt like double checking myself. Okay, so that will probably do things for the Bible study. Definitely will, at least for now. I want to make sure that I get through what I want to get through in Assassin's Creed before potentially coming back here, if there's time, and doing another chapter of Bible study. But, okay. I need to actually do some other things on my Xbox, like namely load up Assassin's Creed. Alright, and then while that's loading, I'll shift over the setup and we'll do all that kind of stuff. Alright. So yeah, I'll shift over that. Webcam will be off, and you won't hear anything from me for a little bit while I shift everything, but I'm still here, and I will be back shortly. Okay. Just wanted to make sure I got the, stream category or whatever changed over on Twitch before totally getting back into things. Speaking of Twitch, it seems to be bugging out a little bit on my stream preview there. Maybe I can reload that and then it will be okay. Yeah, okay. That's a little better. Also, just gonna double check microphone output. Yep, okay. Seems like we are all good to go. Sure would be nice if it was saving these achievements. Pretty sure if it was doing that, I would have another digit on my, you know, total gamer points by now. Alrighty. Not that that's a big deal.
You can create diversions with dead bodies. Soldiers will leave their posts to investigate them.
So yeah, we're
the area they were guarding.
In Acre for the third time. Looks like there's a chance it might not get quite so bright outside. Which would be nice, because then I won't be, like, blinded by the sunlight. And it then won't be as difficult to see what's going on in the game. Acre is just exceptionally dark and dreary in this game. Which, if you saw the last time that I was in Acre, it was pretty obvious that that made it difficult to see what was going on. That in tandem with the light from outside. Anyway. Alrighty, well, suppose it's about time to get to it. Alright. We're back in Acre, ready for round 3, which I suppose will put us once again in the Middle District. That's the second town where the Middle District is the third one you get access to.
Greetings, Altair. What news?
Al-Muallim has named another. Calls himself Sabrand.
I am familiar with the man. Newly appointed leader of the Knights Teutonic, he resides in the Venetian Quarter and runs Acre's port.
I'll start my work at once.
Here are the places where you should focus your search. On the docks east of here, among the ships and their crews. At the chapel to the northeast, near the cross overlooking the port. And to the north, in front of St. John's Gate.
This is most helpful. My thanks for the guidance.
Altair.
Yes, Rafiq.
I owe you an apology.
For what?
For doubting your dedication to our cause.
No, it was I who erred. I believed myself above the creed. You owe me nothing.
As you wish,
Wow,
my friend.
character development?
Go in safety.
Okay. Didn't really quite catch the pronunciation of the main target's name. But, whatever. Alright, so I need to head directly east, which would be that away. Of course, it's never just as simple as head directly east. Oh, and I'm realizing my internet might end up giving me some slight issues, because I think Spectrum is supposed to be doing some quote-unquote upgrades to it. Yeah, they call them upgrades instead of updates.
You're not supposed to be here.
Little bit deceptive calling them that, if you ask me. Because my internet service, for the most part, doesn't really seem to have gotten better through any of these quote-unquote upgrades. Therefore, I would much sooner call them updates. If we're trying to be honest about what it really is. There is a flag down here. I would like to get said flag.
If you're tired of shoddy goods, then come see me. My merchandise.
Yay. Teutonic flag. That's new. Anyway, so he mentioned near a gate to the north. I honestly don't so much remember the other locations that he mentioned. Yeah, but there is a viewpoint right there. So, perhaps I will go toward that. Sorry, dude, but you're going to be a problem if I don't get rid of you.
No reason to be here. Leave now.
Then again, there was a slight chance that killing him might have also wound up causing a problem. But no matter. I have reached the viewpoint. Synchronize. And now that I've gotten to that one, that shows me the locations of all the other viewpoints within this district. Also revealed a pickpocketing mission thing over here. And while I have occasionally had troubles with the pickpocketing, it still generally has not been as bad as, you know, say, some informers. I feel like I'm pretty close.
Let me show you everything I have.
But apparently I'm not close enough to my pickpocketing target. Ah,
Come, people. Come see what I have to offer.
too far.
You tell
Now
him
I'm
I
close
said
enough.
no. I won't have you damn soldiers poking about in my business.
Listen here, old man.
No, you listen to me. This is my property, not his. I don't care if Christ himself put the man in charge.
He isn't asking. It's in order.
That's rich. The man couldn't order his way out of a burlap sack. I've seen the mess he's made of the docks. I won't let him ruin mine.
Just read the letter. You'll see his terms are quite generous.
I grow tired of this. Look, I'll consider what he has to offer, but I doubt it'll change my mind. Now go on, get out of here.
Okay. Somebody doesn't exactly like what's going on. Okay, he's headed that way. Great. A pushy guy. I just love these pushy guys. Okay. Oh, come on. I was behind him, and I did the pickpocketing thing. Lame. Okay. OBS Studio has disconnected and now reconnected. Hopefully we're okay now. Seems like it's doing okay. Alright. Well then, back to it, I suppose.
This place is restricted. Be gone. Leave this place.
Okay. Let's try this again. Pickpocketing. No, that's not who I want to lock onto. That's who I want conversation. Whenever you have to repeat a pickpocketing mission. Again, the pushy guys. Oh my gosh, and now he's pushing me directly into the guy? Like, come on. And I literally can't go anywhere because... Oh my gosh, these guys are so freaking annoying. I hate this. This is literally the worst, most annoying possible way I could potentially have failed at pickpocketing. Okay, you know what? Screw this noise. I'm just gonna fight. Really? Dude had to notice me just before I was able to hide. These pushy dudes are the worst. Seriously though, like... And there's nothing you can really do about them. You're not supposed to kill innocent civilians. So that's kinda off the table. Alright. Huh. Let's try this again. He's gonna look around a little bit. There. Acquired letter stating Sabrand has no guards on the northern docks. Okay, Sabrand is the dude's name. Anyway, had to get that done early, lest I run into another pushy guy. Okay. Next viewpoint. Is this one of the dudes that I can... I thought that was one of the dudes I could have gotten more throwing knives from. But maybe killing them that way doesn't, maybe killing them that way doesn't give me the throwing knives that I was hoping for. Okay. Let's move along here. Random hay on the rooftop. I'm gonna go around to this side. No! Okay. Well, at least he landed kind of gracefully there. And in multiple... or on multiple levels. Oh, come on. Go up, Altair. There might be a citizen down there to save. But first, let me go ahead and get this viewpoint. Hit. And synchronize. Okay. Got more pickpocketing. Great. I suppose I can't just be in the hay here to engage the pickpocketing. The hay also might be a little too close to my target. Alright, I'm gonna stand over here. Is that? Nope, that's too close. Oh, now I've got one of these beggar women kind of pestering me.
He's done it. We moved the last of the food stores onto his ship this morning.
How much is that?
Enough for several weeks.
What's he planning, I wonder?
Perhaps he intends to flee. Something's got him very scared. Anyway, I must be off. He asked I deliver a letter to a courier at St. John's Gate. I best not keep him waiting.
Okay.
No, please, don't leave like this. Just a few coins, please. No, you don't understand.
That lady's gonna draw some major attention to me, isn't she?
I need no, just a little money, I beg of you. A few coins, all right.
Okay, well, pickpocketing successful. Acquired letter which states the brand will soon retreat to his private vessel. Interesting. Okay. I might go ahead and save this citizen here, and then I could go way over there to that viewpoint. That would open up a lot.
My family's sick and dying. Could you spare a few coins? I need food. I'm so hungry.
It doesn't look like I'll be able to go out that way very easily, though. So I'm just gonna go along the rooftops here.
What have I done wrong? Tell me, please.
Maudit voleur! Je te ferai trancher la main!
That hurts. Stop it, please. What have I done
Fiche le
wrong?
camp!
Tell me, please.
Alrighty, it's fighting time. Okay. See, that slight delay was me pressing X. Or... that slight delay was what happened between the actual counterattack and me pressing X. Speaking of counterattacks, I actually just got countered. Doggone it. Come on now. Okay, that one's dead. That one's gone. Oh, crud. I pressed two of the wrong things there. Okay, that one's gone. Alright, who's next? That was a rather quick attack. And I didn't respond quite quickly enough to counter, but there we go. There's another one down. Boom. Yeah, this kind of stuff is why I turn off the blood, because I'm pretty sure this would get quite bad by this point. Okay, let me talk to the citizen I've saved.
Thank you. I'll find a way to repay this kindness, I swear it.
And... vigilantes, I guess? Okay. Anywho, I'm gonna head over this way. Whew, that is quite a distance to get to that viewpoint. But... seems like we've got a slight change of scenery here. Something more like... docks. Which makes sense then why the guy, wow, I'm already blanking on his name. But the guy that we've gotten the info about, that would kind of explain why he would have a private vessel upon which to escape. I'm not causing any trouble yet. Seems like this might be the way to go. Viewpoint is, I'm assuming, on top of this building. That is... It does not seem like the side I would be able to climb up. Maybe... Nope. Aha! Yeah, this looks like I've got a better chance of climbing up. Oh, this one is quite tall, though. Okay. As of the moment, I'm not seeing a particular side. There is a bit of a... Yeah. Like, there is a bit of a spot to grab onto there. And... Okay. We made it! Synchronize! With this being as far out as it is, maybe this won't actually reveal any other, investigations, though. Viewpoint complete, 3 of 9. There is... Wow! Okay, it revealed an interrogation way over that way. There's another citizen I could save as well. I'd like to focus on the interrogation, though. Boom.
Come no further.
Okay. I make no assumptions on Altair's ability to swim. Yeah, no. That might technically be the angle at which I had the stick, but I would have thought the game would be a little bit more reasonable regarding what would happen in that situation.
You have no business here. Leave.
Goodbye. Didn't seem like I was going to get much choice there, honestly. No. Don't go like that. I want you to jump. There we go. Okay. Maybe, with that guy gone, I can reasonably head over this direction. Like, slowing down so I don't look so suspicious. Oh. There is a citizen to save.
Bandit, j'aurai ta peau. Qu'est-ce que tu veux?
Okay. I thought that might happen. Oh, the long wind up on that attack. Okay, citizen saved. Make sure I talk to her.
myself. Still, you've done right by me. I'll see to it that the favor is returned.
Okay. It's not quite what I meant to do. Okay.
Concerns must be presented to the guild representative at the court of the chain. Failure to comply will result in imprisonment. By order of Cyprian, all merchant vessels must be turned over to the Teutonic Order. Clear out your cargo. Ship deeds must be presented to the court by midday tomorrow.
I'm not quite sure how I'm supposed to get to the interrogation there. Hey, another flag. Well, that's definitely not the way to go.
Failure to comply will result in imprisonment. By order of Cyprian, all merchant vessels must be turned over to the Teutonic Order.
Not exactly what I meant to do, but okay.
Ship deeds must be presented to the court of the
Or maybe I need to go around to a different side of this building. If I even can go around to a different side of this building.
Where's the one responsible for this? My good people, your search has come to an end.
Yeah, so far that's not exactly looking very possible. Unless I have to go like way around it. And then come back on the other side. Ah, okay. This might also be an option.
For today only, I've decided to reduce prices on everything.
I don't think doing the blending thing right now actually makes much difference. I just didn't want to end up walking so fast I bumped into one of the guys that was carrying stuff. Ah, great, more pushy people. Except these ones are drunk. Whereas the prior ones were just either crazy or some sort of ill, I think.
Come, have a look. You won't be disappointed.
Oh, come on. Okay. Really? Alright, fine. I don't really want to fight you dudes. So... Haha. I escape. Gonna give them a second to go away. Okay. I saw a flag somewhere over here, but I'm not sure it's really that big a deal. Okay. I'm in the hay. I'm out of the hay. Hey, hey, hey. Alright. So I think I want to just kind of keep following along this to get to the interrogation. Yay. Beggar people. Okay, there's the interrogation target.
All dock vessels must be cleared of crew and cargo. Captains are to present themselves to a representative from the Teutonic Order for reassignment. Any attempt to maintain possession of a claimed vessel will be punished severely.
Okay. Now I need to follow him to somewhere at least kind of secluded. Really? Just because I was, what, too close to a nearby guard? That's not even who I was trying to attack there. There are a lot of these guys around here. Really? Yeah, so counterattacks definitely seem like the way to go here. If they're possibly going to be able to counter my attacks in exchange, you know? I'm also very much getting backed up into a corner here. Oh my gosh, there were so many guards getting involved in this. And there's even more coming from behind me now. Okay. Maybe I'll eventually get rid of all these dudes. Okay, seriously though, now they're just guard breaking, and I apparently can't counterattack a guard break. Either that or I'm not hitting the button quite soon enough to counter the guard break. And now I'm back near the corner. Well, this is getting quite involved. Okay. Seems like I'm slowly decreasing their numbers. Freaking really? Also, this dude looks like he's a Templar. But it doesn't give me a thing for killing a Templar there, so I guess not. Oh my gosh! These guard breaks and the way that they're going about these attacks, for some reason, is just absolutely wrecking me. I don't have a whole lot of health left. Okay, he's gone. And that guy's running away. Maybe. Good grief. Okay. Maybe now I can do the interrogation properly.
By midday tomorrow. No exceptions, no delays. All All dock vessels must be cleared of crew and cargo. Captains are to present themselves.
Yeah, I've heard him say this already, but it's not going to give me much choice to skip it.
Any attempt to maintain possession of a claimed vessel will be punished severely.
So you know what? At this point, this is just about secluded enough.
Made a grave mistake.
Okay.
It's not my fault. I'm only following orders. If
Now
you
he'll
want
talk.
the ship back, speak with
And
the
this is the
court.
last investigation
That's
I
not
needed.
what I'm after.
Then what?
Sabrand's claimed near 100 ships.
Sabrand, that's his name.
A blockade. They're to sail for open water and establish a perimeter.
For what? Does Salah ad-Din intend to strike from sea?
No, it's not he we defend against, but ships from home. To deny Richard more troops.
Why would one of Richard's own want to see him weakened in this way?
I don't know. Ask Sibran. They're his orders. I'm just meant to carry them out. Now, please, let me go. I've told you all I know.
I'm sorry. I cannot risk you telling him I'm here.
Okay. And so yeah, that's all that's absolutely required to unlock the main assassination mission. So I suppose that will do it for the recording. I might do a couple more of these viewpoints just in case something big happens up around this area. But, yeah, otherwise, I'll just go right back here to the Bureau and then begin the assassination of Sibrand. Okay. Have other text messages I'm also catching up with. Huh. Okay. I'll have to keep that in mind. Something very much relevant for, you know, the volunteering stuff that I do at church. Anyway, okay. Also, further follow-up on the lunch plans for the day. Okay, so there's a viewpoint, like, right here. Ah, in fact, it is over there, more specifically. Investigation is complete. Return to the Bureau. It's not necessarily as complete as it could possibly be. Be gone. Okay. Now for the viewpoint. Assuming I don't get attacked while trying to access said viewpoint. Okay, synchronize. Hello, Omid 1386. Is it Omid? Either way, welcome to the stream. How's it going? And that's basically on the way to another viewpoint, but it's an informer. These ones can be kind of annoying, especially the mini assassinations that they sometimes present. And I need to pretty much head directly that way. Of course, there's a big giant building that's preventing me from going directly that way. Nope. Maybe here. Yeah. Ooh, flag. Flag is good. Not that it does a whole lot other than, you know, adds to completionism. If that's even a word. Really, it would probably just be better to say it progresses total completion of everything in the game. Rather than just progressing, you know, main story stuff.
Did they let you into the city, or did you fight your way in? Oh, perhaps I should be more respectful, as I myself now require your help. I spent too much time in the harbor brothel last night, and insulted a Teutonic knight's wife, or so I am told. Now there is a group of them after me. Could you give me a hand?
And these are going to be assassinations, aren't they?
Before I leave the city, I will give you the benefit of my wisdom.
Yeah. I'd really rather not. But if a couple of the targets are in a direction I'm already planning on heading, that's not necessarily the worst thing. I might at least give it a try. No, you don't see me. You definitely don't see me doing anything suspicious. No, I do not have any money for you. Please go away. And now you're gonna push me. Because you're a jerk. And you're gonna push me. Because you're a jerk. And, surprise, surprise, failure of the informer assassinations. Okay, no. I prefer where I am, thank you. Okay. I was wanting to try and maybe pick up the one flag that I saw in the midst of all this, but doesn't seem like that's going to happen very well. Great, and now there's another guard entering the fray. No. Okay. Another one gone. These guard breaks, man. Okay, he gone. I think I got... No, I didn't completely get rid of that guard. Well, now he's gone. Okay. Reinitializing. Don't really care about trying to, you know, go back to that informer. Since I'm close to this viewpoint, though, I wouldn't mind doing that. And I could save a citizen while I'm nearby. That does mean more fighting, though, which is a bit inconvenient. But oh well. I'm doing a lot better with this fight, though. Okay, he's dead. There are more guards joining in, though, so... no guarantees that this is going to just outright go totally better than the other one. Okay, be gone. And citizen saved. Let's talk to her.
Thank you. I'll find a way to repay this kindness, I swear it.
Okay, real quick, double checking my phone. I got a new text message. Okay. Really, I can't just grab onto that. And it seems I would have gotten an achievement right there. Yeah, there's a flag. Hold up. Let me back down. Flag. Another Teutonic flag. Okay, now where is this viewpoint that I'm trying to get to? Wouldn't surprise me if it's way up there. How exactly do I get to it? Now, this certainly seems to help. Yeah, okay.
You're a dead man!
No, you're a dead man. Really? Well, at least those ones have been simple. Ooh. Let me climb all the way to the top. Yeah! Synchronize! Okay, viewpoint complete. I don't know if I'm necessarily going to get all of them. Whoa, okay. I thought there was going to be hay there. Ouch. I thought there was a bird there indicating hay and...
To gather information about you.
whatever. Well, now I'm down here, which isn't necessarily a problem. Okay, but now I want to go kind of over this way. I'm not going to be able to just climb up like that, though. No, that would be too easy. Okay, let me go along here, maybe. Okay, that didn't quite work either. Oh well. I don't necessarily need to parkour my way to everything. Oh, hello. There's a citizen to save. Okay. Camera angle is not exactly great for the fight. The dudes that go in for a grab and miss just before somebody else tries to attack me really kind of messes me up. Okay, there's one down. Or I should say another one down. Okay. Yeah. I also do have another bar on the synchronization meter, which means I'm up to 20.
Sorry, I have nothing to offer in return for your sacrifice, but I shall see to it that my brothers know you are a friend.
We got vigilantes, it looks like. Okay. Right around here should be the viewpoint that I'm looking for. Let me go ahead and climb this ladder. Ah, doggone it. He turned toward me just in time to prevent me from attacking. Or to prevent me from doing the, you know, hidden blade stealth kill. Okay. And there's technically other stuff that I could do. Ooh, eavesdropping usually doesn't go too poorly. Let me try and do that. But first I need to get down from here. And the easiest way to get down is this. Alrighty. Eavesdropping. Eavesdropping. I am pretty close to the conversation upon which I want to eavesdrop. Now I just need to find a bench. Yeah, this one ought to do it. Okay.
It's getting worse. His paranoia knows no bounds.
He's doubled our shifts. No one sleeps.
Wasn't so bad till he decided to make the port his home.
He's planning something at sea. That's why he came here.
Planning what?
What's the meaning of this? The two of you off in a corner, whispering, plotting?
Nothing of the sort. We were only...
Only what? What secrets are you keeping?
You misunderstand.
Damned assassins, they're probably here right now, watching us. Do you find this amusing? Do you? Pull off while you can. Double the patrols.
Which ones?
All of them!
But we don't have the men.
Find them! Recall our knight from the field if you must.
Okay. So Brand is hiding in the docks. That dude's demand seemed awfully similar to the common current day overbearing corporate demands that just kind of throw something out at you and ignore any actual facts regarding resources or actual, you know, viability of their demands. They're just like, no, I want this done. Do it however you have to. See, that's a Hospitalier flag, not the other ones I've been picking up. Anyway. Okay, well, I got a 4th investigation done. Oh, come on. There we go. Now I can head back to the Bureau and know that I've done more than the bare minimum. Really? I just want to get onto the platform thing to walk across. Fine. There. Better? Really kind of didn't want him causing me any trouble. Where's the Bureau? Bureau is off in this direction. Okay. There's the entrance. Hiya. Okay. And that's where I'll start recording again. Ugh. Give me a second to, like, stretch out here, though. Dang. Whew. So apparently, there's a computer at church that we've been using to, like, share recordings of the services on Sundays. And we have to update something to be able to use particular shared drives. And it seems the computer that we've been using to do so is too old to do the update. So I guess we've found a temporary workaround, but also before too long, it would seem that computer is going to get replaced. The question then becomes, because that's the same computer we use for, like, click tracks for the band, makes me wonder how all that stuff's going to get ported over. But whatever. Smart people can figure it out. Okay, anyway. Back to recording and progressing the game. Alright. Back to the Bureau.
Greetings, brother. How fares
To
your
begin
search?
the assassination mission
Share your
for
knowledge with me, then.
Sabrand is said to be
Sabrand.
consumed by fear, driven mad by the knowledge that his death approaches. He has sealed the docks district, and now hides within waiting for his ship to arrive.
This will make things dangerous. I wonder how it is he learned of your mission.
The men I've killed, They are all connected. Al-Mualim warned me that word of my deeds has spread among them.
Be on your guard, Altair.
Alrighty.
But I think it will be to my advantage. Fear will weaken him.
Fast forwarding memory to a more recent one.
So this dude is absolutely paranoid about getting killed. So Brand will soon retreat to his private vessel. That will be the moment to strike. Okay. So that is where it currently says that my target is.
What have I done wrong? Tell me, please.
Diebstahl wird mit dem Tode bestraft. You've no reason to be here. Leave now.
I'm just up on the rooftops. Like, give me a break.
It's forbidden for you to be here.
I'm working on getting away from y'all. Don't you worry about that. Oh, yeah, I gotta get to the other side of this. It would seem. Okay. So I can go down here like this. Not really cause any issues or get myself hurt. And then looks like I need to just keep heading in this general direction.
What is it that you want?
Oh, hello. Ancestors' memory synchronized. Now recording. What's going on here?
Mistaken, Master Sibrand. I would never propose violence against any man, and most certainly not against you.
So you
Scholar.
say, and yet no one here will vouch for you. What am I to make of this?
I live a simple life, my lord, as do all men of the cloth. It is not for us to call attention to ourselves.
Perhaps. Or perhaps they do not know you because you are not a man of God, but an assassin!
Never.
You wear the same robes.
If they cover themselves as we do, it is only to instill uncertainty and fear. You must not give in.
Are you calling me a coward? Challenging my authority? Are you perhaps hoping to turn my own knights against me?
Wait, so is this dude Sibrand?
I don't understand why
Would make
you're
sense.
doing this to me. I've done nothing wrong.
I don't recall accusing you of any wrongdoing, which makes your outburst rather odd. Is it the presence of guilt that compels a confession?
But I confess nothing.
Ah, defiant to the very end.
What do you mean?
William and Garnier were too confident, and they paid for this.
This dude really does sound crazy, though.
I won't make the same mistake. If you truly are a man of God,
change his
then
reasoning
surely
on a
the
dime.
Creator will provide for you. Let him stay
Just
my
to
hand.
You've gone mad.
Fit, you know,
Will
his
none of you come forward to
kind of
stop
story
this?
that he's made in his mind.
Poisoned by his own fear, compelled to see enemies where none exist.
Seems the people share my concern. What I do for Acre! Oh! Stay vigilant, men. Report any suspicious activity to the guard. I doubt we've seen the last of these assassins. Persistent bastards. Now get back to work.
Okay. And they just throw his body into the water. Alright. Not going to be able to get through that way, that's for sure. What the? How am I suspicious now of all times? I didn't do anything. Well, anyway, so Brand is way the heck over there. There's hay somewhere near here, I guess, but I apparently cannot currently utilize that as a method of escape. Oh, and so I can just get knocked into the water like that. That's okay. If I had known that was a possibility, I wouldn't have stopped to fight.
When you are exposed, throw in soldiers from rooftops and...
Okay. Let me perhaps try a different route. Okay, now I'm going along here, and I'm not... You know... Really? They focused their attention on me anyway. And they're just gonna knock me into the water again. Okay. That's how this assassination becomes difficult. I can see that now. Just gonna put it in a really stupid environment where it's ridiculously easy to get insta-killed, essentially. Alright. Let me see what happens if I actually just stick to the boats. That was... Really? Okay, that was just a dumb lack of...
throwing knives to deal with distant enemies.
I guess it was just somewhat a lack of precision in the traversal between the various things around here. That was... Oh, come on! I was right next to the spot. This is not a precision platformer.
Ladders are a socially acceptable way to reach a roof.
Oh my gosh! That's like nearly the exact same jump that I made before. But no.
Exposed. Use sharp turns.
It says I was slightly over to the left this time. So it acted like I did something wrong. When I most certainly did not. Don't fall in the water, please. Really? What? Anywho. Okay. I don't know if this is necessarily the best route to get where I want to go, but I'm gonna give it a shot.
None of you will lift a hand in defense of your master. I'll take care of this heathen.
Oh my gosh! I was facing like right that direction to jump onto the next post.
When you are exposed, use sharp turns.
Again, this is not a precision platformer. Like, just a tiny bit of like a locking on equivalent would basically do the job here. Oh, come on, freaking really? And that gets me in the water too. Wow! How many stupid ways is this area going to come up
When
with
you are exposed,
to kill me?
tackle people who are in your way.
This is absolutely bogus. Okay, come on. Like, why would it jump to that spot and not just, you know, have me land more safely on the actual platform that was there? I don't get it. Oof, okay. Not quite what I wanted, but might be helpful anyway because I can get rid of this dude. Okay.
None of you will lift a hand in defense of your master. I'll take care of this heathen myself.
I can't jump over to that from where I am. So I'm basically gonna need to go back onto here. And then maybe jump over this way. Okay, now how would I get up there? Can I just do this? Yes, okay, good. Okay. Not surprising that I would have to encounter a little resistance, at least. Somehow countered an attack I couldn't even really see. Okay. What? Target escaped? Oh, come on. So, if he's alerted...
When you are exposed,
Then, oh,
throw
man.
soldiers from rooftops.
That was at least a bit more legitimate of a way to fail that, but come on. How was I supposed to know that would happen? Literally none of the others have actually managed to escape me.
Leave, peasant, before I make you.
No, why would you? Okay. Ooh, here's a thought.
Fine.
Who sees
None
me?
of you will lift a hand in defense of your master. I'll take care of this heathen myself.
I was trying to go down. You bugger. Okay, you know what? Screw it. Where the heck is Sabrand? That's not him. This is not gonna go well, is it? Oh. He went this way. Doggone it, come on! I got too many people running into me now. He's probably gonna escape just because, well, vigilantes! Hey! Thank you, vigilantes!
Please, don't do this.
You are afraid,
Of course I am afraid.
but you'll be safe now, held in the arms of your god.
Have my brothers taught you nothing? I know what waits for me. For all of us.
If not your god, then what?
Nothing. Nothing waits. And that is what I fear.
You don't believe.
How could I, given what I know? What I've seen? Our treasure was the proof.
Proof of what?
That this life is all we have.
Linger a while longer then, and tell me of the part you were to play.
A blockade by sea. To keep the fool kings and queens from sending reinforcements. Once we...
Conquered the Holy Land?
freed it, you fool. From the tyranny of faith.
Freedom? You worked to overthrow cities, control men's minds, murdered any who spoke against you.
I followed my orders, believing in my cause. Same as you.
And now there's probably going to be a bunch of fighting, too. You know, there are vigilantes in the area, though. I might have a halfway decent chance of escaping. Ouch. Alright, let me try and escape over this way. Yeah. Let me up. Doggone it. I was spotted just before going in there. Oh, hey, a flag. Fancy that. Okay. Okay. I am hidden. Now perhaps I can become anonymous. Okay. On to the bureau. At least, hopefully. Wouldn't entirely surprise me if I encounter a little resistance along the way. Really? You're not gonna go up there, Altair? Of course. Like I said, resistance along the way. Would not surprise me. Now, where exactly do I want to go? Oh, there's the bureau. But it's closed right now because I'm not anonymous. Alright. Cool. Gonna do a little more hiding. Okay. Really? Okay. Into the bureau. And we're good. Whew.
Altair, you've caused quite a stir.
I've done as requested. Sabran's life is ended.
So it is. So it is. You should ride for Masyaf and inform Al-Mualim of your success.
Yes. I should return and speak to him. Of this and other things.
Is everything all right, my friend? You seem distant.
It's nothing, Rafik. Just a lot on my mind.
Talk to me then. Let me help.
I need to make sense of this myself first. But thank you for the offer.
It is the men you kill, isn't it? You feel something for them.
How?
Ah, my friend. You are not meant to enjoy these grim tasks. Regret, uncertainty, sympathy. This is to be expected.
I should not fear these feelings.
You should embrace them. They are what keep you human.
What if I'm wrong? What if these men are not meant to die? What if they mean well? Misguided, perhaps, but pure in motive.
I am but a Rafik, Altair, and such things are beyond me. Perhaps Al-Mualim can help you to make sense of it.
Yes, perhaps. Thank you, Rafik.
It is my pleasure to have served with one as skilled as you.
Yeah. I was skeptical as well. It's not surprising that Altair would be. Skip. And how much you want to bet we're going to hear more from Desmond and Abstergo? Or not, or it could just take us straight back to Al Mualim. Nope.
Not a lot of time, Vic.
First guess was right.
Wherever it's hidden, time to retrieve it.
Working on it.
And when it's done,
He'll be taken care of.
I want that progress report by tomorrow morning.
I've got some work I need to do. So you've got the rest of the night to yourself.
Okay. I saw the doctor there a little bit during that conversation. What about you?
I think there's a problem with the Animus.
Nope, it's working fine.
I'm pretty sure it just ejected me
I'm
when
pretty sure you should shut up.
You ready to finally tell me what's going on?
We have to stop them, Desmond. When they access that last memory of yours, they're just getting started. They want to change everything. The way we live, the way we think, the way we are. You've gotten the lecture from Vidic about what's wrong with the world, how we need order and discipline, so they're going to give it to us. Only we don't have a say in the matter.
How?
The Templar treasure. They think it...
Miss Stillman,
I'm here.
I need you to upload Desmond's files to the database.
Got it.
So, just like Al Mualim was talking about the Templars forcing a particular view of the truth on people. What's her name here? Lisa? I don't know. This lady is also admitting that Abstergo, who seems to work with /for Templars, wants to do a similar thing where they will just bring about a sense of order, sure, but it will also just be like forced on people. Sounds a bit like what some want to do in the current day, if I do say so myself. But I'm not gonna get too far into my thoughts on that, because that'll deviate a bit too much from what's going on in the game here.
So what? You're using me to find this Templar treasure? What do they call it? The Piece of Eden?
Yes.
Well, it's looking like it's at Messiah, so I don't know why they're wasting all this time with me. Why don't they just send their people to pick it up?
They can't. It's not that simple. The artifact from Messiah, they had it. It was destroyed in the accident.
Then what are they hoping from me? For my ancestor to tell them?
They're hoping he'll show them where the other ones are.
You mean there's more than one of these things?
Oh, Desmond, you have no idea.
Is there a problem, Miss
No,
Stillman?
Warren. Everything's Denver on my end.
Then where are the files?
I've got to move these files before he gets suspicious. We'll talk more later.
Alright, she said talk more later. I doubt I would get any significant interaction if I tried to talk with her again. So, Probably back to my room here. Yes. And sleep. The following morning.
Time's wasting, Mr. Miles.
Yeah, I'm coming.
We're nearly done, you know.
And then what?
You'll see. Maybe they'll even let you watch when it begins. It's not as terrible as you think.
Look, I know you're not gonna let me leave. So why not tell me what's going on? Humor me.
I'm not an idiot, Mr. Miles. I think you've already learned quite a bit.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Of course not.
All right, let me ask you something else then.
Yes?
Some of the stuff I'm seeing in the Animus, sometimes it seems wrong. Untrue, like the history is off somehow. It doesn't
what, Mr. Miles? Match up with what you read on an online encyclopedia? What your high school history teacher taught you? Let me ask you something. Do these supposed experts have access to secret knowledge kept hidden from the rest of us?
There are books, letters, documents, all sorts of source material from back then. Some of it seems to contradict what the Animus is showing me.
Anyone can write a book, and they can put whatever they want on its pages. Anything. Used to be, we thought the world was flat.
Some people still do.
Yes, and they publish books about it. Or that the moon landing was a hoax. I believe there's also a book claims the world was created in 7 days. A bestseller, too.
Where's this going, Doc?
The point, I suppose, is that you shouldn't trust everything you hear, everything you read. What's that your ancestors said? Nothing is true?
Everything is permitted.
Yes, exactly. It's part of what makes the Animus so spectacular. There's no room for misinterpretation.
There's always room.
Touché, Mr. Miles. Now that I've answered your question, can we begin?
He sounds a little bit like Jubair with what he's saying, which might also just be the general, like, kind of Templar way of thinking. Or it's like, no, we need to correct everything that's wrong, but, you know, we're going to be the ones to decide what is and isn't wrong, and, you know, present the truth, really just their version of the truth, to the broader society.
Or performing a stealth assassination.
Come in, my student. We have much to discuss. We are close, Altair. Robert de Sable is now all that stands between us and victory. It is his mouth gives the orders. His hand pays the gold. With him dies the knowledge of the Templar treasure, and any threat it might pose.
I still don't understand how a simple bit of treasure could cause so much chaos.
The peace of Eden is temptation given form. Merely look at what it's done to Robert. Once he tasted of its power, the thing consumed him. He saw not a dangerous weapon to be destroyed, but a tool. One that would help him realize his life's ambition.
He dreamed of power then?
Yes and no. He dreamed, still dreams, like us, of peace.
But this is a man who sought to see the Holy Land consumed by war.
I forgot I could change perspectives on this.
How can you not see when you're the one that opened my eyes to this?
What do you mean?
What do he and his followers want? A world in which all men are united. I do not despise his goal. I share it. But I take issue with the means. Peace is something to be learned, to be understood, to be embraced.
He would force it.
And rob us of our free will in the process.
Strange, to think of him in this way.
Never harbor hate for your victims, Altair. Such thoughts are poison. What was each killing if not a message? But he has chosen to ignore us.
Then there's only one thing left to do.
Jerusalem is where you faced him first. It's where you'll find him now. Let this final offering lend you strength. Go, Altair. It's time to finish this.
Okay. Oh, one last upgrade. Use swords expertise and extra throwing knives. More damage. Basically. So yeah, it seems like Robert himself will be the target of the final assassination, or at least the next one. And I wonder, though, if the idea, you know, in Desmond's time, or like outside the Animus, if the Doctor's idea slash Abstergo's idea is basically to, well, it sounds like they want to get the secrets of where other treasures might be that would hold similar power to the piece of Eden or whatever. And of course, then they would want to use that power to then, you know, rule over the people and essentially, just like the Templars in Altair's time, you know, they would want to basically bring about a particular view of how the world should be. And the overall goal might not necessarily be a bad one, you know, trying to unite everyone and essentially, you know, get them all thinking, doing, behaving the same way. But their means of attempting to do so aren't exactly the most noble. Because again, they're wanting to do it by force, rather than let people figure things out themselves. Which, I don't know, it would seem that trying to let people figure it out themselves means, like, you're never going to get everybody on the same page. But if you try and force it on people, like, there's bound to be some sort of resistance anyway. Because even then, you're probably not going to get all the people on the same page. Like, if there are people who can disagree with and or be skeptical of what seems to be, you know, legitimate history, then who's to say that people would not later down the line doubt what was forcefully made to seem like legitimate history. And I realize my grammar might not have been the best as far as, you know, conjugating verbs or using different tenses within my sentences there, but point is, like, the utopian dream is essentially a fool's errand. Like, there's no way any such global peace will ever really be accomplished. At least not, you know, by human means, whether that be through control or conversely through just uninhibited freedom. The only way that it could truly get to such a state is through some other means, or perhaps, you know, a godlike being who actually has better knowledge and plans and can bring about such a thing in a way that, you know, everyone would actually, after all is said and done, be able to agree upon. Now, I know what it says in the Bible about Jesus' second coming seems rather forceful, and in a way it is, but the cause is still righteous, and the means of going about it really comes down to stamping out the lies, and at least primarily, if not only, the lies, and, you know, I don't know, trying to understand the reasoning within this game and, like, weigh that against what's said in the Bible is an interesting proposition. And of course, the Bible was something that was mentioned by the, you know, Abstergo doctor guy. I still don't know if I've really quite caught his name, but yeah, when he mentioned a book that says the world was made in 7 days and sounded skeptical of it, yeah, he was clearly talking about the Bible. Anyway, okay, well, now that I've gone on that train of thought and kind of wrapped up what I was thinking there, I suppose it's about time I wrap up the recording here, because otherwise then we're getting into the next assassination mission. And again, okay, so it's actually the Middle District in all 3 cities that is the 3rd district opened up. Huh. Anyway. Alright, well, next time it'll be presumably doing investigations in there, and then unlocking the presumably final assassination of the game. But anyway, okay. So, that honestly is about as much progress as I wanted to make in Assassin's Creed for the day. I do have a little bit of time to spare, though, so I might actually go back to Bible study stuff and get one more chapter of that in for the day. 'Cause why not? I mean, are there other things I could potentially work on? Yeah, sure. But I would also like to try and get a little bit further ahead on my recordings and such. And the next logical thing to work on to that effect would be another Bible study. That does have me realizing, though, I would need to try and shift around the setup again. So, I will just real quick switch things to a different screen, or a different scene, is what I meant. Make that change, and then be back. I suppose in the meantime, I could put on some music, though. So let me find a little something there. Let me go ahead and let's play this one. That is going to be really loud. Let me turn down the volume before I actually bring it into the mix here. Okay, be back in a bit. Okay. And we're back to Bible study stuff. Yeah, not a whole lot else to say as far as what's going on with this. Did have a slight little drop in frames on the stream for a sec, but I think we're overall doing okay. So I suppose here we go for a third Bible study chapter. Okay, so now we're looking at Judges chapter 13, which, I mean, there's not really a major carryover with anything that happened from a previous judge, so I think we're good to just kind of hop into this one. Just with the general knowledge of, the judges being people that kind of ruled over / helped rescue Israel when troubling times came about. Namely, having other people come in and attack / rule over them. So, anyway. Okay. With all that in mind, here we go. Judges chapter 13. Again, the Israelites did evil in the Lord's sight. So the Lord handed them over to the Philistines, who oppressed them for 40 years. See, now, the Ammonites were defeated in the previous chapter, actually 2 chapters ago, but details. But the Philistines were part of that overall conflict, and it hadn't really mentioned anything about them being defeated. So, surprise, surprise, they're causing problems. For 40 years. Anyway, verse 2. In those days, a man named Manoah from the tribe of Dan lived in the town of Zorah. His wife was unable to become pregnant, and they had no children. The angel of the Lord appeared to Manoah's wife and said, "Even though you have been unable to have children, you will soon become pregnant and give birth to a son. So be careful. You must not drink wine or any other alcoholic drink, nor eat any forbidden food. You will become pregnant and give birth to a son, and his hair must never be cut, for he will be dedicated to God as a Nazirite from birth. He will begin to rescue Israel from the Philistines." Okay, I'm actually pausing the recording for a second there because I just realized I need to real quick change some stream info over on Twitch because I am no longer playing Assassin's Creed. We are now doing Bible study. Okay, now that that's been fixed. Okay, so a man and his wife are having trouble having kids, but an angel promises they will have a child, a son, but he's supposed to be dedicated to the Lord as a Nazirite, which was a specific vow of like extra restrictions, but as a means of extra dedication to following the Lord, obeying his commands, and just pretty much giving your life more so focused on serving God. And so in order to be prepared and like not have anything related to the birth time frame or process affect that's why the mother is supposed to not have any alcohol or eat any forbidden food, which it mentions. Well, there's a footnote at forbidden food. Okay, it's not bringing up the footnote directly when I click on it right now, so I'm going to have to look down here. Hebrew just says any unclean thing. But obviously if you're eating something that's unclean, it would generally be, food that was deemed unclean. Because why would you eat something that's not food like that? But anyway, I digress. So, not much else to say on that. On to verse 6. The woman ran and told her husband, "A man of God appeared to me. He looked like one of God's angels, terrifying to see. I didn't ask where he was from, and he didn't tell me his name. But he told me, 'You will become pregnant and give birth to a son. You must not drink wine or any other alcoholic drink, nor eat any forbidden food. For your son will be dedicated to God as a Nazirite from the moment of his birth until the day of his death.' Then Manoah prayed to the Lord, saying, 'Lord, please let the man of God come back to us again and give us more instructions about this son who is to be born.'" More instructions. So I guess Manoah is not wanting to, risk messing up the whole the son being a Nazirite idea, and or just wanting confirmation in another way that, yeah, that's what the plan is from God. So then verse 9. God answered Manoah's prayer, and the angel of God appeared once again to his wife as she was sitting in the field. But her husband Manoah was not with her. So she quickly ran and told her husband, "The man who appeared to me the other day is here again." Manoah ran back with his wife and asked, "Are you the man who spoke to my wife the other day?" "Yes," he replied, "I am." So Manoah asked him, "When your words come true, what kind of rules should govern the boy's life and work?" So, yeah, kind of just wanting to get more information, not wanting to, mess up God's plan of their son being a Nazarite. And if they didn't have those commands readily available to them, for whatever reason, it would have been easier to just hear it straight from this angel of the Lord. Verse 13. The angel of the Lord replied, "Be sure your wife follows the instructions I gave her. She must not eat grapes or raisins, drink wine or any other alcoholic drink, or eat any forbidden food." Then Manoah said to the angel of the Lord, "Please stay here until we can prepare a young goat for you to eat." "I will stay," the angel of the Lord replied, "but I will not eat anything. However, you may prepare a burnt offering as a sacrifice to the Lord." And Manoah didn't realize it was an angel of the Lord, which is why he would have offered to, prepare food for this guest rather than just outright thinking of it as an offering to the Lord or one of his angels. So he basically just reaffirmed the earlier instructions. And then there's that whole exchange about preparing an offering. Then verse 17. Then Manoah asked the angel of the Lord, "What is your name? For when all this comes true, we want to honor you." Again, probably not realizing that it was an angel. "Why do you ask my name?" the angel of the Lord replied. "It is too wonderful for you to understand." Because of him being an angel. But Manoah doesn't know, so he's asking all these things as if it was a regular person that he's talking to. So, then verse 19. Then Manoah took a young goat and a grain offering and offered it on a rock as a sacrifice to the Lord. And as Manoah and his wife watched, the Lord did an amazing thing. As the flames from the altar shot up toward the sky, the angel of the Lord ascended in the fire. When Manoah and his wife saw this, they fell with their faces to the ground. The angel did not appear again to Manoah and his wife. Manoah finally realized it was the angel of the Lord, and he said to his wife, "We will certainly die, for we have seen God." But his wife said, "If the Lord were going to kill us, he wouldn't have accepted our burnt offering and grain offering. He wouldn't have appeared to us and told us this wonderful thing and done these miracles." When her son was born, she named him Samson, and the Lord blessed him as he grew up. And the Spirit of the Lord began to stir him while he lived in Mahanadan, which is located between the towns of Zorah and Eshtaol. Okay, so they brought the offering and put that on the altar, burnt it. Did the angel say? Yeah, okay. The angel did say it would be a burnt offering. So, assuming they knew the procedures for that, that's what they would have followed in terms of preparing it and whatnot. But anyway, you would think they would know because the offerings were still a regular practice. But anyway, so they brought the offering, and the angel then ascended with the flames. That's not something a normal person does. So, I think with that in mind, after a while, Manoah finally realized that it was an angel. And I'm not sure what it is with people in the Old Testament apparently equating seeing an angel of the Lord with seeing the Lord himself. But this is at least the second time that I can recall somebody thinking they were going to die after seeing an angel of the Lord. But that's not quite the same thing, which is why they wouldn't have died. If they had seen the Lord himself face to face, then the idea is yes, they would have died. I forget where it states that, but it does state that somewhere earlier in the Bible. That seeing God directly, well, okay, there was the exchange with Moses at Mount Sinai, where God tells him, if you see my face, you're going to die, which is why he puts him in a certain crevice or whatever in the rock, covers it up until he passes by, and then allows Moses to just see his back. So that certainly contributes to that idea of thinking seeing the face of God means you're going to die. In any case, he thought they were going to die, but his wife's like, well, no, think about it. Why would God have said all these things to us if we were going to die? That doesn't make sense. Further, I guess, solidifying the idea that maybe they didn't see God himself, but just an angel. Anyway, so then their son is born. They name him Samson, which probably has some sort of meaning to it. I'm just not sure about that off the top of my head. Maybe I could look it up later. But partially due to the Nazirite vow, Samson, well, let's see here. The Lord blessed him as he grew up. The Spirit began to stir while he lived in Mahanadan. And I'm sure that's going to then lead into some of the things that he does to help deliver Israel from the Philistines. But that's all that we get in this particular chapter. And I don't really have any particular other thoughts. So I guess that is going to do it for Judges chapter 13. Okay. And now that we've gotten our little bit of extra Bible study in, I think I'm actually going to wrap things up for the stream. Because, first off, I'm getting hungry. Might want a little bit of something to eat. But also, I can work on other things that I need to do. So, I am going to take a look at people to possibly raid on Twitch. But yeah, in the meantime, I'll just say, hope you all have enjoyed the stream. Hopefully, I will see you around soon for another one in the near future. But, yeah, I do live streams like this currently on Thursday mornings. Generally starts with Bible study, and then there's some gaming. Depending on timing, I might do a little bit of extra stuff here and there. And then Saturdays are usually just kind of chill. I'm just playing a game and, engaging with chat. Those start on Saturdays generally no earlier than like 4 o'clock Central, but there's often other things going on that pushes it back to maybe starting at more like 7 o'clock p.m. Central. Anywho, so yeah. I hope y'all will come back soon, but if not, no big deal. I understand there's other people out there that you might want to support with your viewership. But, okay. Got the plan laid out. So, with that being said, I hope you're all doing well. And, yeah, until next time, stay cool, everybody.